my name is Margo. I've been working as a dominatrix for a little bit over a year. What really interested me about this at first was I really enjoy endurance. I moved here right after college. I went to school in the Midwest, to a writer's school, and did a degree in creative writing. Decided that I wanted to, what the fuck, I'm going to be a stripper. I was always doing art about performing sexuality and gender. Definitely felt like it was something that finally I could go out and experience these things that at the time when I was doing my art I was using a lot of pornography as my main resource. Pornography and, a lot of different things, but worked as a stripper for a while, and at the time I was taking pole classes. I was also taking aerial silk classes, and aerial classes really transformed my body, I guess, and I guess sort of gave me the confidence to go and do this sort of work. I had always been in really good shape. I ran mostly long distance. But never could do a pull-up or anything like that. A friend of mine got me into silks, and suddenly I was, just doing things with my body that I'd never done before. I was realizing, wow, I'm really not flexible. That's something I'd love to work on. Being in shape has definitely helped me enjoy kink more. That kind of led into me becoming a dominatrix. Once I realized that there was an actual community and a huge pool of resources for there was a guy there who I had never seen before, and he started asking me about some of my bruises. And when you pole dance, you get a lot of bruises because you're using your body against the pole to do a lot of the tricks. And I told him I was taking pole classes. And then about 5 minutes later, I said, just kidding, I'm a stripper. And guess what happened to me today? There was a regular at the club that I worked at who had, he identified, I guess, as a foot and inner thigh worshiper, and he would take the girls into the lap dance room and have them step on his balls. And I really wanted to step on his balls. I was just like, this is something I gotta at least try it once. I'm a male pro dom. I have done work for kink.com, which of course I was obsessed with. I loved kink.com. Well, especially working as dominatrix, there is just this really interesting thing to me in that people come to me, pay me for an hour of my time. As a pretty young woman, I can go out. I don't have to pay for kink. In fact, I can glut myself on it. What's the danger in a shitty day shift stripper going and hanging out at a gay BDSM porn star's dungeon? If I get killed, that'll be the most ridiculous news headline ever. Anyway, I ended up going and visiting this place, actually, where we are now, the next night, getting the shit kicked out of me, and realizing that, oh my god, this is really enjoyable. I love this. I began to plan what I was calling my 24-hour endurance trial, and I wanted to do 24 scenes in 24 hours. Each would be an hour long, and each would be, I would be the bottom in each of the scenes. Of course, then I was going into the strip club with huge bruises on me. It was a fairly alternative place, but it had its issues, and one thing is I realized if I'm going to have this job, a big part of the job is sitting and drinking all day, and I don't want to be an alcoholic. I was barely making enough money. My new friend said, well, if you want to work, I'll help you post an ad, and have at it. When I got a gallery actually in the area to give me some space to do it in, where I could sort of build a dungeon and have different people come in and play with me. Right a couple days before, I ended up having my parents send me a message. This was right before Thanksgiving, and they sent me a message telling me don't come home covered in bruises. And at that point, they knew that I was kinky personally, but not professionally. And it really kind of killed me, but I decided I was going to cut the performance down to 12 hours. And so for 12 hours, I had a different person come in and do a scene with me, and it was absolutely exhausting. Because there were different parts where I would be crawling on the floor, not on my hands and knees, but on my knees and elbows, being given different, very strenuous tasks. There was a part where I was asked to sit against a wall with my hands out and answer questions. And when I'd hesitate or answer wrong, I was getting cattle prodded. And it was a huge, huge rush and amazing, and definitely felt like something that I definitely had to train for. So here's the toy wall. A lot of these whips are, especially the bull whips, are way too big to actually use in here. And I've taken them out into the park and practiced throwing them. It's definitely a challenge. I more use whips about this size, but even so, a lot of throws you can't quite do in here. I'm not even doing anything too real, but you can sit and practice. I'll like hit a roll of toilet paper and unroll it and then roll it back up. Really enjoy these, but and really enjoy using them on people, but not a lot of my clients can take them. It's definitely pretty intense. It can leave marks. It's best when there's a knot at the end and you hit with the knot, it'll just punch a hole right in people's skin. I really don't like playing like that way, either having people break my skin that way or breaking people's skin that way, which is not something that I'm interested in. For most people, everyone can be flogged, and flogging is fun. I really enjoy it. You sort of just get into like a groove, do the sort of figure 8 thing. You know, typically don't leave marks, except I just had a pro sub session recently, and when he throws, he wraps. And these are beginning to fade, but that definitely leaves some marks, and definitely hurts a lot more. Unless someone's a really intense pain slut, I don't typically wrap or try to wrap when I flog. I allow this client to do it because we negotiate it, and he's fine with my marks, so, you know, I'm fine with him giving me some. Right here, we have a whole bunch of electric stuff. This one broke a little bit, but it's an electric ball crusher. Flip it one way, you can shock the cock. Flip it the other way, you know, you can shock the balls. It's pretty fun. Oh man, what are their toys? You know, paddles, clothespins. I do a lot of crazy zipper type stuff with clothespins where you put them on, you got a string, and you rip them off. Really enjoy doing stuff with rope. I don't do any suspension. But really enjoy tying people into strange, stressful positions. That's just something that I really, really dig right now. And thankfully have a lot of clients that really enjoy that, really enjoy hog ties, different sorts of things where I'll have their legs straddled. Then you can do all sorts of horrible things to them when they can't close their legs. That's really fun. Gags. This is a really fun thing. What they actually are is you put the rubber band on here. It's used for castrating cattle. I don't put these on my clients' balls. That would be too mean. You really could take their balls off this way. But I do put them around their nipples, which is really fun. Always put a piece of string in there so that in the end you can pop them off, or else you'll have to cut them off. And that sucks. in the end, you want to be able to take things off safely. That's the important part. This guy I don't use. It's scary and intimidating. It's like, you know, it is really fun to scare people with, but it's also really hard to aim with, I've found. You know, you'll hit them, but you might not hit the spot that you meant to hit, which is, you know, can be dangerous. You don't want to hit someone in the kidneys and have them pissing blood for a week. Got more clamps. Can use in all sorts of fun places. You know, sometimes the best things are stuff that you can find anywhere. We've got a hardware store going in downstairs, which is very exciting. Used a lot of duct tape. A lot of saran wrap is really fun. Candles. What else have we got? We've got this big, stupid looking knife. I have a switchblade that I typically use for knife play, but again, I don't like to break skin. I have one client who brought me twigs that he wanted to be beaten with, which is always exciting to give people assignments. I don't typically use the sling a lot. Or a lot of the metal restraints. To me, what I can do with rope, I get a lot more flexibility as far as the different positions I can put people in and accommodate a lot of different body types, where when you have something as restrictive as like that, say, you know, it's made almost for one body type, and you can't get everyone into it. And a lot of my clients are not in great shape. They're older, they're not very flexible, and so when I practice tying up, say, my girlfriends, you know, they can get in all sorts of twisted shapes and hold those poses for a lot longer. I have to be much more careful with my clients in that regard. So, receiving this sort of pain is definitely, I do it because it's exciting to me. It turns me on. It's also a way for me to sort of, a very alternative way for me to relate to people in a sexual way that's not necessarily sex, that can often be more meaningful. At the same time, I used to play with a lot of people, and now it's, I don't anymore. If I'm going to be this marked up, I want the marks to belong to people that are important to me. That's not always the case, but that's kind of how I tend to more reserve myself and my emotional and physical energy for the people that I really care about. Should start with this one since it's pretty noticeable. This is a pinching bruise. My girlfriend, Bumpy, we have a very funny way of showing each other affection. I like to tickle her, and she likes to pinch me until I cry. And it was my birthday, so I got extra special pinches. Usually she sticks to my legs, and I end up looking like a Dalmatian. So some of these bruises, some of these are from pinching. I get bruises a lot around this area from Lyra and Silks. You can tell this little kind of crater type mark. It's from this little toy called the Sadistic, which is like a little metal tool with a bead on the end, and you flick it, and it's a bitch. It's an absolute bitch. But mostly a lot of pinching bruises, a lot of finger marks. I think I got some interesting stuff on my butt as well. Hard to keep track sometimes of what exactly everything's from. And it's going to be very interesting in the summer to take care of things, but it definitely is something that I enjoy, and something that the sadist in me took a little bit longer to develop. And I definitely can be a cruel bitch as far as inflicting pain goes, but I really enjoy a lot more psychological humiliation and degradation. I found that I really enjoy that myself as well, and I tend to enjoy doing unto others as I enjoy done unto me. I don't do a lot of knife play because I don't take care of my wounds very well. But I do have one special friend that I allowed to do some play with me with a straight razor. When I do any sort of play like that with my clients, I avoid breaking skin. The only time that I will do play that involves breaking skin is with needles, because they're single-use sterile needles. What other little interesting marks do we have? Little scars where people just have taken chunks out of me. It's possible that I'm the most beat up looking dominatrix in New York City. But as far as, life outside this goes, with Ariel and Lyra, I'm always wearing leggings, so pretty much you can keep that covered. A lot of times people do mistake the bruises for bruises from that kind of training. But sometimes it is pretty excessive and people notice. Otherwise, typically... Oh, this one. That is a rope burn. That is a rope burn. I have another pretty severe scar right there from also from rope burn. The worst injuries I've gotten from rope, though, is I've had it only happen twice, which is pretty lucky. I've had some nerve damage. The first time was on my right arm and just got complete wrist drop, which is I love rope. It's a risk that I'm willing to take, although losing the use of my hands is not only, really problematic for work. This is my whip holding hand, but also extremely problematic it's for me a very sort of fulfilling lifestyle. I don't even really think of it as abnormal anymore, which is as far as the physical part goes, the physical, like hitting people like that, that's not so interesting to me anymore as some of the other weird shit that comes along with it. To me, pain is sort of only one element in sort of achieving a goal. When you set out to do a scene with someone, pain is a tool and typically not the end goal. And I would just love to do the 24-hour thing, and because it is definitely, I mean, it's a test of physical endurance, it's a test of mental endurance, and it's definitely sort of an athletic thing for me, and as, a former long distance runner, it's brought just a different sort of dynamic to taking care of my body so that it can endure the horrible things that I also want to do.